parent and student interviews you just saw mentioned several tips for successful partnerships between home and school. Do you sometimes find that communication in meetings goes smoothly, and other times you feel frustrated or misunderstood? This is not unusual in any situation, but happens more frequently when we're talking about our children. Parents typically receive little training in collaboration and communication skills, but these skills can improve effective interactions between parents and schools. So, this DVD has been created for families, even though the information is pertinent to both families and schools. In this section, we'll cover information on what collaboration means, talk about the benefits of collaborative partnerships, and highlight effective homeschool communication tips to ensure your child's success. Although there are many ways to communicate between home and school, we'll focus on preparing and participating effectively in school conferences. You may already use many of these suggestions and techniques, but some may be new ideas to consider. Your child or adolescent is important to both you and the teacher. Keep in mind that while you're concerned with every aspect of your child's life, his teacher's mission is to focus on his educational goals. Consider the different perspectives with an open mind, and if they're different than yours, ask for clarification. Please tell me more so I'm sure I understand your view. Keep your emotions in check, as these can interfere with your ability to think logically and make informed decisions. Be respectful even when you disagree. Be specific and clear about your concerns. For example, instead of saying, "She is frustrated with school," you may want to say, "She acts out at home each time she has long homework assignments." Instead of saying, "He follows directions at home," you may want to say, "At home, he follows directions better when I give him two-step directions with one reminder." Sometimes there are other outside factors that may be affecting your child or adolescent when they're at school. Be sure to share these with the appropriate people. For example, if your child is experiencing stress in his life, maybe because of a death, a divorce, or peer issues, etc. Parents experience improved communication and more positive experiences with their children and the schools, better appreciation of the value of their role in their children's education, and opportunities to make more informed decisions. Educators report greater job satisfaction, higher evaluation ratings from parents and administrators, and more positive associations with families. It can be a win-win. When we involve students in these partnerships, they tend to demonstrate more positive attitudes towards school and learning, higher achievement and test scores, improved behavior, increased homework completion, greater participation in academic activities, and have improved school attendance. They tend to set higher goals and commit more personal resources. This combination of goals and effort equals achievement. You will learn more about student participation opportunities throughout this section. You have heard the benefits to collaborative homeschool partnerships. We know that both educators and parents want the best for their children and students want to succeed. These ingredients are just what we need for our recipe for student success. So, what are we missing? Why is it sometimes difficult to build these partnerships? First of all, no one person can literally walk in the shoes of another. Our life's experiences are our own personal journey. These experiences, positive and negative, create our perspective on how we see the world. Right or wrong, our perceptions are real to each of us. This pertains to families, students, and teachers. Strong emotions, disagreements, and past negative experiences can impact our willingness to partner. In order to build a strong partnership of trust, mutual respect, and openness, all parties must commit to putting the needs of the child on the table, to look beyond past experiences, and to share in the responsibility of understanding others. Once this is accomplished, opportunities for collaborative partnerships will develop. Effective partnerships do not just happen. It takes time, energy, effort, patience, and commitment to build skills to collaborate and communicate effectively. Collaborative partnerships are like a business partnership. Business partnerships have the same overall purpose or goal. They make an effort to communicate clearly and openly, have individual roles, and a clear understanding of each. Have opportunities for giving feedback to one another. Bring different skills and information to the table. Use problem solving strategies early and educate themselves about their particular business. The business of a home and school partnership is achieving an effective education for your child where parents are the experts and schools have the expertise. The ingredients: clear, honest, and direct communication. Each partner brings unique and needed areas of expertise and skills. At some point, everyone shares the role of leader, learner, and expert to the benefit of the student. Accept and respect each other as competent, capable people. Understand the big picture and look for common interests. Give permission to make mistakes. In general, communication is the exchanging of information. We have mentioned that communication is an essential ingredient for student success. Communication between home and school helps a teacher know a parent better, which in turn helps the teacher to know the student better. Students who talk with their teachers and parents and have positive feelings toward them typically have higher educational expectations and post-secondary participation. Newer, more advanced forms of communication are available. Oftentimes, these forms of communication allow both parents and teachers to communicate without the limitation of school hours or location. Things like voicemail, video technology, school websites, and email. If these means are not available to you as a parent, make this known to the teacher, especially if it is the main mode of their communication. In this section, we will concentrate on tips and suggestions on how to have successful communication with others in a conference environment. Communication is not always easy, as obstacles like misperceptions and stereotyping can create hurdles. Cultural and language differences can affect how we interpret what we see and hear. Our culture is based on our beliefs, customs, religion, and language, acquired as a result of being a member of a certain group. Each state even has its own culture. For example, if you've moved to Virginia from New York or California, you may have a bit of culture shock. It's important to understand the core values of other cultures, and as well as your own personal values, in order to accept the differences in other people. Some cultural beliefs about roles in education view teachers as professionals in charge of their child's education, and may not see it as their role to be actively involved. Some cultures believe avoiding eye contact of authority figures shows respect. Nonverbal messages can have a powerful impact on what's communicated. Silence can be misinterpreted for lack of understanding or a negative attitude, but when a person is sensitive to these silent messages, he's far more likely to interact with others in a friendly, comfortable manner and to make his spoken message more understandable. Language differences can impact both written and oral communication. Physical proximity, how close you are to someone, and physical contact can be acceptable behavior or intrusive. If there are cultural differences that may affect how you or your child's behaviors are perceived, please share those with the teacher. Contact your Parent Resource Center for more information on cultural diversity and homeschool communication. You now know the necessary approach to building your home and school partnership. Let's now talk about the basic ingredients for having a successful conference. Know the meeting purpose, plan what you want to accomplish, and check afterwards to make sure you achieved that purpose. After notice has been given about a conference, start preparing some items that will be useful to you and other members of the conference. Be organized and know where to find all records. Keeping a notebook is helpful. Ask your child if there is anything that she would like to share with the teacher. Give thought to the most important items that you would like to discuss at the conference. Make a list of all your questions and concerns and bring it with you. Share it before the meeting to give teachers a chance to review and prepare. Remember, time is limited. Contact your Parent Resource Center for more information about preparing and participating in conferences. One of our goals in schools is to model participation, inclusiveness, and equality. But the most overlooked potential participant in conferences is the student. We talked about the benefits of students who participate in their education. Self-determination is a concept reflecting the belief that all individuals have the right to direct their own lives. The purpose of this strategy is to assist students in participating in their own education. One of the ways to do this is through student-led conferences. The student's role changes from passive observer in a conference to one of leader. The student is the key person responsible for identifying their strengths and learning needs and reflecting on previous schoolwork to document their progress and in setting goals. Students who have self-determination skills have a stronger chance of being successful in making the transition to adulthood, including employment and independence. To learn more about the process of student self-determination and student-led conferences, please contact your local Parent Resource Center. Your child or adolescent is important to both you and the teacher. Keep in mind that while you're concerned with every aspect of your child's life, his teacher's mission is to focus on his educational goals. Consider the different perspectives with an open mind, and if they're different than yours, ask for clarification. Please tell me more so I'm sure I understand your view. Keep your emotions in check, as these can interfere with your ability to think logically and make informed decisions. Be respectful even when you disagree. Be specific and clear about your concerns. For example, instead of saying, "She is frustrated with school," you may want to say, "She acts out at home each time she has long homework assignments." Instead of saying, "He follows directions at home," you may want to say, "At home, he follows directions better when I give him two-step directions with one reminder." Sometimes there are other outside factors that may be affecting your child or adolescent when they're at school. Be sure to share these with the appropriate people. For example, if your child is experiencing stress in his life, maybe because of a death, a divorce, or peer issues, etc. There are quite a few ways that will help you listen effectively while letting others know you're listening to them. Here are 3 ways to express listening effectively. Pay attention to your body language and show others that you're listening. Make eye contact, lean forward, and nod occasionally. Sometimes body language can speak louder than words and can be misinterpreted. For example, crossing your arms across your chest could be perceived that you've shut down and are no longer willing to hear what the teacher is saying. Try to listen more than you speak. You know what you know. It's important for all participants to feel like they've been heard. Take notes on what you are being told. Our memories are not always precise. Often, so much information is being presented in a short time that we forget or confuse what's being said. Also, we all know that even with the best intentions, our minds will wander. 20% are reminiscing about something. 20% are paying attention, but only 12% are listening actively. The rest are worrying, daydreaming, thinking about eating. What are you thinking about? Suggestion: writing it down will keep you focused and also help you to refresh your memory later. It's important to clarify how information is being perceived. Listen for the main points and ask questions if you need clarification. Once you've heard information, repeat what you heard the other person say in your own words. "I think I heard you say that my son will need to set up a time to meet with you during his study hall. Is that correct?" Make sure that what you think you're sharing is the same as what the listener thinks they're hearing. How you say something is as important as what you say. Your tone affects what people hear you say. Does your tone sound positive, aggressive, or assertive? If someone was speaking to you with the tone that you generally use, how would you feel about what you were hearing? Try using I messages. They respectfully express your feelings and concerns. As a parent, I feel concerned about Jane's low quiz grades. You messages tend to sound accusing, blaming, and/or criticizing, often putting the listener in a defensive position and possibly alienating him. You gave Jane a low grade on her grammar quiz. Do you use open-ended questions, beginning with who, what, where, when, which, or how? They encourage an open exchange of ideas. Closed questions, those which require a yes or no response, can discourage open exchange. We all want to hear please and thank you, justified apologies, and any other common courtesy that makes us feel respected. For example, if you've made a mistake, it sets a positive tone to admit it and to say that you're sorry. Partners share responsibility and effort to achieve agreed upon goals. It's important to understand that disagreements and conflict within special education are normal and inevitable, but partners are willing to keep the door open during differences of opinion in order to keep working to resolve conflicts. Negotiation is a way to work to meet in the middle or possibly find another way of arriving at a solution that can be agreed upon. If you make the commitment to seek first to understand, then to be understood, this might make it easier to avoid conflict. Be mindful of the time and don't stay behind the time allotted to you. Review what you discussed and restate your action plan. Determine how and when you will communicate progress. And on a positive note, if you can, this is always a good way to keep a partnership moving in a positive direction. I appreciate your time in meeting with me and sharing this information. Review the meeting details with your child if they did not attend. Explain the positives first, then review the areas of need that were discussed and any action plan for communicating progress. Make sure your child understands his role. For more information on collaboration and communication between home and school, please contact your local Parent Resource Center.